Hands down, it's the worst day in high school I've ever had.
She's like, I already told him earlier. I'll tell him, but I guess I should have told him no. I guess I should have told him no this morning.
Hey, twin, that's my twin. That's my twin. That's my twin. We just found out we were twins. Isn't that cool?
And I'm your twin brother.
We call this here a little twin.
Twin, tapping up a jet ski.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Tytwinz Twinnin Ain't Easy podcast. And today, I just feel so good. I like my beanbag, but we're not both sitting on that beanbag together. We're not doing that. Today, we want to thank all of our subscribers. We really had a big boost this week. Shout out to Facebook, networking. Oh my goodness, the Identical Twin group. It looks like we're planning to go to Twinsburg, or the Twin State Festival in Twinsburg, Ohio in August. So we made reservations and everything, and we can't wait to meet a lot of the twins that we met in these groups, and a lot of you twins that have reached out to us. It was a really, really kind of a mind-blowing week, because we get a lot of support from family and friends, but the support that we get from twins was a real big deal. So if for those of you who don't know, and I'll read anyhow, I'm Taid and
I'm Tyari,
and we are the Tytwinz, and this is Twinnin Ain't Easy. So I put a post last week. I don't know if people look at posts on YouTube, but we put a post on our YouTube channel. The votes that we got for the number one video that people wanted to see was us to talk about the differences that we have. So this video is going to be exclusively just about the differences between us and how some of you will be able to tell us apart, opposed to some of our similarities. But most of it is going to be physical. We'll do some personality traits, but yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of physical differences that we have. So Ari, we want to start with any differences that we got?
I mean, things have changed over the years as far as our differences and similarities, but physically, we're talking about physically. Most times, I was bigger at birth.
Yeah. True. Ari was bigger. Mom knows the ounces.
At least if they didn't mix us up, I was bigger at birth, because
he was 5 pounds, I think 4 ounces, and I was like 4 pounds 9 ounces when we were born, something like that. Yeah, we were both small. Obviously, twins usually come out small. We're not gonna be no 9-pounders over here, no 10-pounders. That's not gonna happen. We would have tore our mom up if we didn't already. But
wow. So which part do you want to talk about first?
Just you.
Huh?
What's just you? What's something you got different than that I don't have? I can give you one. I'm looking at it right now. You guys, we're gonna get warmed up here. Tyari has his ears pierced. Okay, for those of you that are looking, see the little shiny thing shining on him right here. He's had his ears pierced. When did you get your ears pierced?
18.
18. Ari got his ears pierced.
Late
18. I got my ears pierced. One ear, but I didn't wear the piercing, and my piercing, I didn't wear the earring, and my piercing closed up. So
I forgot about that.
If you want to tell the difference between Taid and Tyari, the first thing you can do, Ari doesn't like to wear his glasses a lot. He wears glasses just like me.
I wear them all the time. I like to wear my contacts too.
He likes to wear his contacts, but for me, I like to wear contacts. If I want to look really nice, I don't want to have my glasses on, and maybe I'm playing basketball or something, obviously I will not wear my glasses. But if I need to see something, contacts are good. But for me, my glasses give me a little bit more clarity. So if we're at a basketball game or somewhere like a movie theater where I really want to see detail, I usually will wear my
maybe you got the wrong
glasses.
prescription with your contacts.
I don't think it's the wrong prescription. It could be, but I know that
if you can't see the same with your contacts,
I can't see the same. I see almost the same, but I think the contacts can't match the prescription of your glasses. They can't, because I think the glasses, the prescription is a little bit stronger. But we've been wearing glasses. Oh, that's another thing. We started wearing glasses when we were freshmen in high school.
I thought we wore them before that.
I remember getting my first pair of glasses. I got Guess glasses. They were gunmetal. And speaking
that sucks, because I couldn't see probably sixth and
Yeah, yeah.
seventh, eighth grade. I couldn't.
Yeah,
see
we
them
were struggling in class, and
avoid very well.
my mom and dad were not like very quick to take us to get our eyes checked because my dad's like, "You don't need glasses. You could see just fine." And then come to find out, we both needed glasses, and I was failing in algebra and math in 8th grade, 7th grade, and then in high school, I ended up tutoring people, and it's just crazy how that switched around because I couldn't see the letters and the numbers. I was just, I mean, could you imagine? That was a really, really tough time. But we got glasses when we were 14. Before that, in junior high, we did not wear glasses our whole entire lives prior to that. But we do have another funny story. Ari got, I think they were Ray-Bans, because Ray-Bans were kind of popular at the time. I went to go get glasses. This is old school. Now we order glasses online. If you don't order glasses online nowadays, you go in there, they give you a bunch of glasses to try on, and then you get them, and you see the little price tag. Then they run up the bill with a bunch of other anti-glare and all this stuff. I tried on at least 50 pair of glasses. My wife was with me, and I end up getting the exact same pair that Ari got. Same style, different color of Ray-Bans. That was
many years later.
Yeah, it was many years later. We were adults at that time. You know, everybody just thought it was odd because sometimes we get some of the same stuff. Like we'll get the same phone, which right now we actually have the same phone.
But that was just...
Ari got his phone before me, but I saw this Galaxy Z Fold at Best Buy, and I told the kid, "Oh, I'm getting this phone. I'm getting it," because I was driving Lyft for a little bit, and you know, with the bigger screen, you kind of can see the navigation a lot better and kind of look at the map. That's why I got this phone. But Ari got his phone before me. However, he did not activate it until way after, right? After I had already got it. So he already had the phone. He just wasn't using it. But I already knew I was going to get this phone anyway. But he didn't actually have it activated and working until after. But okay, let's get back to it. Differences.
You know, I don't really remember too many differences when we were too young other than left hand and right hand. We both pretty much look the same to the point where if we see pictures when we're 3 and 4, it's right around 4, 3.5 is where we can tell who's who. If you show us a picture when we're 2, it's a toss-up. 1, obviously, and even younger than that, we can't tell.
We can't tell
unless someone's sucking their thumb, which I sucked my thumb. That was one of the biggest differences that people can tell us apart.
Both his thumbs.
Oh, thank you for telling everybody that.
Both thumbs, both of them. I sucked my finger, one, and my dad. What did Dad do?
Oh, they had a bunch of methods to try to stop us from sucking our fingers, which would be tape. I don't know if hot sauce was ever. I think hot sauce was done. I like hot sauce.
I don't remember hot sauce, but I remember the taste of that skin tape. That sports tape.
Tape was taken off.
No, that sports tape. Dad would get this old white sports tape because we were apparently.
Well, that's what I just said. Tape.
Yeah, we were too old to be sucking our thumb and finger. And I'll never forget, Ari had both his thumbs taped. I had my finger taped. And I swear, I remember sitting down, chilling, watching TV, and I put my finger in my mouth. I was like, sports tape. I was pissed. But yeah, that's what stopped us from, I mean, we would blister. Ari had blister on both his thumbs.
I mean, I don't know how you remember if I had blisters.
You did. I remember, right on the back of your thumb. Because when he sucked the thumb, the teeth would rest right here. And from when you have your thumb in your mouth for a long time, it turns kind of white. If you have kids, you know, turns a little white if they do it a lot. And it kind of, you know, softens.
I don't know
the skin.
how you remember so much about me.
I remember it. I remember it.
And you don't let me talk about it. You just want to talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just love to.
It's just certain things pop up when.
That's why I don't say much. Because he's going to just take over and start taking it away. Right? Right.
Well, you know what? So Ari said it. I'm gonna let him have that. I'm Tytwinz left-handed. If we didn't get that in a previous video, Ari is right-handed. I am the older twin by 5 minutes. I think that's one of the reasons why. I know it sounds goofy, but I don't know. I'll feel like I always take the lead on stuff, and our personalities are different. So I'm an extrovert. Ari is more of an introvert. And, you know, I think that plays a lot in why I talk a lot too. But
I think the only other difference really when we were younger is I like to play basketball a lot, even really young. I just always loved playing basketball. I remember playing all the time, recess, lunch. That was all I cared about was basketball.
Ari was a big basketball.
And I worked on it hard enough till my jumping ability, when I was like 10, 11, 12, really working hard to be able to jump higher. And then when I, got taller, got a little bit older, my jumping ability had superseded, well, that's the right
Ari would be jumping.
I knew when I was about 6th grade that I had a good jumping ability. I used to jump over chairs in the auditorium and so many things, like line them up and jump over like long jump.
If you remember 32nd Street, if you remember, if you know, Ari, we would be lining up the folding chairs. And people were like, man, you can't jump over 8 folding chairs.
Well, it wasn't 8 that young. It was about 5. But these kids nowadays probably could jump 8 or more. But anyways, I used to jump over shopping carts the long way, all kind of stuff when I was really young, the Costco shopping carts. But just to test my jumping ability, and just because I felt like I had some springs in there. And then obviously Ty didn't feel as comfortable to do those things, but I realized that I had a jumping ability that he didn't have. And that was something that we both understood.
And Ari jumped off of his left leg. I jump on my dominant leg because we're mirror twins. We'll get into that in a later episode. But my dominant leg jumping is my right because I'm left-handed. So shout out to my kids. They both made CIF this year, actually jumping. Long jump, triple jump. Shout out to my babies. And shout out to Roosevelt Mustangs for that. They just finished up their season. They both made it to CIF. And my daughter ran track for the first time her senior year, and she qualified for CIF. So very happy. We're going to see where she ends up doing this year with college. Yes, back to that. So you know what I knew when you really started liking to play basketball, like for real? When you would go to the park. Because the park that we had where people would play was like at least, we lived in LA, so I'm talking like at least 12 blocks, 10, 12 blocks.
Maybe 10 or...
And he would go by himself. The homies would be over there playing basketball, drinking beers. And I know it may not sound like there was any good like basketball talent, but even drinking beers, these dudes were hooping. And
I'm glad you could tell the story when you didn't go. You didn't.
I went with you sometime, but I was just shy. Like, oh, this is where Ari goes. And I mean, it wasn't my thing. I like to play ball, but Ari was in there. He was for real. He was real about it.
Yeah, we grew up, like we mentioned before, we grew up in Huntington Park. So the park close to us was predominantly Hispanic.
Soccer all the time.
Really Mexican. There were dirt field there at the park. It was Westside Pavilion Park. And there were a lot of people usually playing soccer, but it was a dirt field. And then there were people that played basketball. But again, you have a variety of people from all different ages, from 50 to, young kids. I was young. I was like 16, and I was the only, black kid on the court. But I was playing with old grown men, people that were just enjoying getting off work, or people that didn't have a job. They were just at the park. They liked to play ball, or older teenagers, right? And I really developed my skills, shooting, driving, all that stuff, going to that park almost every day, 7th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade. Like, that's just what I did every day after school, was go play basketball. And it helped me a lot. But you can't, I learned then not to judge people, not to judge a book by its cover, because you have an old man, he could be 5'2" and be able to shoot a 3-point shot like you've never seen anybody, like not miss. And it's like, if you go to any park here in LA, even today, downtown, there's a real good park that I've gone to where on Sundays and Saturdays, there's people playing basketball, a whole bunch of people not dressed like hoopers, not looking like hoopers, but they're out there getting it. And it's a couple dudes who don't look like they could do anything more than barely pass the basketball, but could shoot the lights out. And it's like, that's LA, and that's just what we grew up as. So it's definitely a cool thing to grow up around and know that that's what made me, kind of develop into what I am, aside from high school, aside from playing in school. And we didn't really play in a lot of recreational basketball programs growing up. Our parents didn't really put us, maybe a couple short, maybe one game we played with some older kids one time. And that wasn't really as helpful to me. We
Right.
got our butts. We played against some high school kids when we were like 6th or 7th graders,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we weren't quite ready for that.
Ari was always more active when it came to playing basketball. I like to play, but I did not. My thing was more track. I like to sing a little bit more, but I was always real shy to sing because you tell people you sing, and the first, oh, can you sing a song? And I don't like, even now, I don't want to tell you guys that because people say, can you go on a live and sing a song and sing so we can see if you really could sing or not? I don't know. But anyway, more differences. So I have a birthmark. I don't know if you guys, it's very light. You might not be able to see. I have a birthmark right here on my right arm. Ari has a birthmark on his right arm as well, but his birthmark is on the outside. Oh, here you got to flex on me now.
I'm not flexing.
He's now he got to flex on me.
I haven't been to the gym.
But he has a birthmark right here. You can, it's probably more dominant because it's darker. It looks maybe look like a shadow, but that's his birthmark. And then scars. I had a couple lipomas where I had like surgery, like a lump under like fatty tissue that I had removed. So I have a couple. They're healed pretty good. I have one on my neck too. So it's like you probably could see like that. But for me, I've had hernia repair. I had a vasectomy, maybe TMI for those of you. But those are some of the scarring that you're going to notice on me. But nobody's really going to see a couple of those except for, very select individual. But Ari, Ari's been actually pretty good. He hasn't had any surgeries.
I haven't had
like
anything broken or bones except one surgery. My patella tendon tore in a interesting trampoline accident. But I thought, people thought it would be from basketball, but no.
Everybody thought.
I've had a couple really bad ankle injuries that were almost as bad as the surgery, but they didn't require surgery. But the time out, months, being out for months. So, but as far as that, no other injuries or surgeries or anything like that, and not a vasectomy yet. Thank you. And I don't think I might not get one unless something crazy happens. So, but yeah.
You never know. As far as a vasectomy for me, I have my kids early. I have 4 kids, a daughter graduating high school now. I have a son who'll be graduating high school next year, and 11 and a 10-year-old. So girl, boy, just like that. However, I was young and I was like, I love my life. I love my wife, right? So I had to get that done. I said, you didn't have all these kids. I was like, I'll do you one. I'll do you a favor. I'll do you a solid. Because we had like a 5-year gap between the 2 sets. Our first 2 are 16 months apart, but our younger 2 are actually Irish twins. And I think that our relationship being twins has influenced us, but I want to bring that up in another episode. So I won't bring that up now. But yeah, our kids, we pair them up. We pair them up.
That's the difference, major difference between us. Taid had kids earlier, got married earlier. I waited. I was dating. I was in relationships here and there over the years, and then I finally recently got married about a year, almost later this month it'll be a year. So yeah, but yeah, that would be probably the biggest difference. Me being in relationships and having more freedom without children, I'm able to travel. I'm able to experience different dining experiences that maybe my brother didn't get to experience at the time. I would be as helpful as I could at the time, helping with the kids when I was needed.
I think it's changing a little bit too, where my kids are getting older, and with Ari having younger kids, I have babysitters, but for the older kids can watch them, but we want to see the babies, and it gives us an opportunity because me and my wife are a little bit more free with the kids being older. And I think the crazy dichotomy between what we were experiencing during that time was I was in the suburbs with the family, and Ari was actually, for a good part of the time, he's been in LA, but downtown, like really living completely 2 separate lives, but always connected, which is, I think when people find that out about us, I think they think that's fascinating because a lot of twins typically will follow the same. If one's a doctor, the other one's a doctor. If one does this, the other one does that. We realized we're more distinct with our identities than most, and we're going to jump into that and another episode about us being mirror twins, which we talked about before. And a lot of people are like, okay, what does that mean? What's a mirror twin? But we're going to break all that down for you guys. I think Ari, too, you're more of a protector. There's been some times where in high school. I think the worst day I ever had in high school, and I don't even know if I could tell it now. I can tell it, but Ari actually did something and kind of had my back where I think about it because it's by hands down, it's the worst day in high school I've ever had. You want me to talk? Should I talk about it? I could
You can talk because I didn't know you had a worst day. I didn't know you.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You guys want to hear about my worst day ever?
I don't think I had a worst day.
There was a young lady that I was talking to that I liked. Before I met my wife, we just moved to a different school. We're in Fontana. You know, I wrote her a letter. Do you like me? Want to be my girlfriend? Type of thing. So we go through the whole week. Every single day, I'm hanging out with her friends, and she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll tell you on Friday." I'm like, "Okay, great." You know, but
Damn, she got you wait
till the whole week.
Yeah,
bro.
you never told me that.
Yeah. So
she didn't give you a yes or no. She wanted to see how you did the rest of the week.
She wanted to see. I don't know if she was putting me through a test or whatever, but it was really, really tough.
Shit.
So I was hanging out with her and her friends, buying little snacks at lunch, and just hanging out with them all week. So Friday comes.
Buying snacks.
I'm about to find out. I'm excited. I'm getting ready for school in the morning, getting dressed. I'm ready to go. I'm so excited. This is the day she's going to let me know if she's going to want to be my girlfriend. We're good. We're going to be locked in, whatever. So I get to school, and I'm thinking to start my day. I seen her. I'm like, "Hey, what's good?" So it's Friday. She's like, "Oh, well, I'll tell you at the football game tonight." And I'm like, damn. I'm disappointed. I got to wait the rest of the day. But little did I know how the day was going to end up. So we were not our house is not super far from the school. But back in the day, I mean, it was summertime. I think it was September. It was hot. And school ended. We didn't go home. I remember we stayed after school and Mom came. She's like, "Look, I'm not taking you guys home and coming back. You already know. You know, we have, our mother. So our mom, she wasn't doing it. So anyway, she's like, "I'll take your backpacks, but if you guys are staying for the football game, you're going to have to stay." And I'll never forget, she brought us in and out. Do you remember that?
Nope.
We stayed after school.
Only you remember.
We stayed after school, and Mom brought us in and out. I'll never forget it. So we sat and
wow, you remember. You have a good memory for that day that you want to have a good memory for.
We sat and ate our in and out. The problem is, if you go to a football game after school, ideally, what do you want to do? You're a kid. You're in high school. We're juniors. I want to go home. I want to change. I'm musty. I'm hot. I've been at school all day, and not only that, I got on the same clothes that I had when school started. And at night, obviously,
that wasn't unusual.
It cools off. Yeah, for the football games, the girls would get their hair done a little bit and come with their jackets. Some kids had Letterman jacket, whatever. But the football game is like it's like the club almost for a high school kid, because you get to see your friends after school. Maybe teachers are there, but you're not in class setting. So you kind of get to like do your thing a little bit. So anyway, we get to this football game. We've been at school since school got out. So that's 4.5 hours. School got out at 2:30, 3 o'clock. We're at school. The game starts at 7:15, 7:30. The stand's full. I'm wearing the same clothes.
Long story even longer.
Yeah, right. All I remember, I'm gonna chop it up for you guys, but all I remember,
I don't even know what we're talking about.
I go to this girl. She's sitting with her friends, and she tells me no. And it's like
what you mean? How did she tell you?
She's like, "No, I don't want to be your girlfriend."
So you asked her at the football game?
She was supposed to tell me.
She said, "I'll tell you at the football game." So you walked over her
to
her.
I'm like, "Hey, what's good?" Game. I'm wearing the same clothes. I had a white shirt on too. And we had been after school. I don't know if my shirt was
here
dirty.
He comes. She sees you coming up the bleachers, talking about, "Here he comes." Oh my God. She's like, "I already told him earlier. I'll tell him, but I guess I should have told him no. I guess I should have told him no this morning."
So she's with her friends.
Damn.
And she told me no, and I was absolutely crushed. I was crushed. I almost was like, I had the little ball in my throat. I was about to start crying. Tyari says, because he's sitting with a bunch of like basketball friends and people that were cool with.
We was having a good time chilling, having a good time cutting up what we used to do.
And Tyari was like, and he sees how like hurt I am. I'm pretty sure because we're twins, he could feel it. But he says, wasn't somebody trying to mess with that bitch? Anyway,
I called her that.
Yeah. Oh. And her friends, "Oh, no, you didn't." Her friends stood up. "I know you didn't just call her."
I don't think I said that.
Yeah, you did. Damn. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
With all due respect.
He said the girls, when one girl gets talked about, the girlfriends come and defend her. And when he said that, it started a, oh no, you're dead. And then everybody's going back and forth, like more of an argumentative type of thing. But it was crazy because I was so hurt, and I'll never, ever, ever forget that because I was so crushed. And I ended up being real good friends with the girl down the road. I ended up tutoring her sister.
I didn't just call her a name. I must have said something about her. Cause I think
You might have said something.
I think I made a comment.
You might
about
remember
her
better.
Skinny, because she's real skinny.
She was a skinnier girl, pretty girl, and if I'm not mistaken, down the road she ended up doing some modeling down the road. If you know who you are, I could give you a shout out, but I don't want to do all that and throw it. But yeah, but you know who you are. You know who you are. I still got love for you and the family. Hope the family's good. But that was my worst day in high school.
I don't think I called her that straight up like that. I don't, because that's not my style.
You could have said something like, ain't nobody trying to mess with that.
Maybe I called her nappy headed or something.
No, I don't think you called her that.
I called her.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think I could have called her a different word.
And whatever the case may be, very pretty girl. You know who you are, but that
Her attitude wasn't very pretty that day, and it hadn't been pretty, or nice. So so whatever.
Well, you know what? It helped me out. I ended up finding my girl in high school, my wife, and we've been married for almost 19 years.
You were at school hurt, huh?
I was hurt.
I ain't never been at school hurt. That if I got hurt, it was younger. If I got hurt in school, it was younger. It was when I was probably. Oh damn! Let me think. Whew. We started dating. We started having girlfriends when we got young. 3rd grade, 4th. Well, okay, let me not exaggerate.
Oh, don't even get me
Crush
started.
is probably 3rd grade. Dating like little girls in school, 4th, 5th grade. And then people don't believe it. Shoot, my first kiss, she might have been in about the 6th, 5th grade. Anyways,
we're right about there,
and shit like that. But anyways, back then it was all innocent. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But as far as that,
there's one girl that you dated that you could talk about.
Who, in high school?
No.
In middle school?
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure did. You don't have to say her name.
But we don't have to get into it now. We're talking.
I'm gonna give you a shout out too. This young lady has twins now.
Okay,
and we talked about that. Yeah. So me and Ari got into a little scuffle.
This is a difference between us. Now we're talking about something else.
I dated this girl.
Oh, you're gonna
probably
say
3rd or 4th.
Not gonna.
I don't want to say the name, but
I'm not gonna hold back. You're just gonna jump into the next.
Well, we were younger. This is before.
You gotta jump into the next topic.
No. We're staying on the same topic. What were you gonna say specifically?
No, I just don't remember having really no bad days. I mean, I remember being cutthroat. And it's funny when you're a young kid and these girls tell you nonsense. Oh, I don't want to be with you anymore because my boyfriend. This is all throughout middle school, junior high, high school. If a girl I was dating or whatever didn't want to, I had an easy transition out of it. It was like, okay, no problem, bye. Now, when you get older, it's not like that. Things hit harder. Things hit different. Now, talk about as an adult, it hits totally different. Being in a long-term relationship and then something happens, it definitely is difficult and it could be stressful and hurtful and so many different things your body goes through when you separate from a relationship. And that's whether you're actually married, whether you're just dating someone for many years, or even just a year or two, and then things just fall off. So I've been through all of that heartbreak. I've been through having to move and having to do all kind of stuff like that, which my brother here, he's been married since fresh, almost right out of high school. So he's never had to experience that type of heartbreak. So to hear him say that he was heartbroken, or not heartbroken, but he had a bad day because of this young lady.
And he had my back.
Well, because I didn't have those days when I was that age. I was just kind of different. I didn't care. I wasn't disrespectful to anyone. It was just more of,
I think it's about your emotions too. Like I said, you're more reserved. Like you don't let things frazzle you and get you too riled up. You know what I mean?
Nah, man. We had too many other things. I think that's another thing I'll mention just in reference to kids and being a part of any activities in school that will help in so many ways. Just as far as them persevering and knowing how to deal with things that are difficult. Because when you're practicing or conditioning for any sport, track and field, basketball, soccer, football, baseball, whatever it is, you have to, try to improve. And all you're concerned about is getting better and better so that you can perform at your best. And it doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of work, and competing amongst your peers, just at a school, that then you have to go out and compete against a bunch of other kids. It just puts you in a different state of mind and frame of mind and being able to handle stressful and challenging situations. So I mentioned that just to say that that's what kind of kept me grounded and not too worried about what girls thought about or how girls would treat me. That didn't matter because I have much more serious things to deal with, being a part of, a sports team or any type of program where I really have
It wasn't like a priority.
put in work, and know, that sometimes things don't come easy. So all that little stuff was just not light work.
Right. And also having a twin too, if you are in sports, I see a lot of twins out there that participate in a lot of the same sports. That's your advantage right there. You guys have each other to lean on. You have each other to help with practice. If you're a twin, you're playing basketball, one of you get the rebound, the other one put up as many shots until you get your shot. Like it works both ways. Whether you play soccer, baseball, you got a built-in teammate. You got a built-in partner, practice partner, trainer, however you want to look at it. So that was our advantage. And it kind of keeps you competitively. I'm not as good at basketball as Ari, but for the average Joe, I actually have an edge because of my brother playing so good. Even with going to the gym, I don't think I would be where I'm at right now physically. I'm athletic, but that extra motivation that you get, because Ari's definitely, if you can see, I don't know how good that camera's getting, but he got a black shirt on, but that boy, he's shredded. He goes to the gym regular.
I haven't been to the gym in a couple
He
weeks.
might be losing a little bit, but you can tell he's cut. There's pictures. Check out the IG. Check out the TikTok. You'll see Ari's still got it. But
Thanks.
yeah. And I was faster for a lot of the years too. But now they were older. Tyari's actually faster.
Now that we're older, and I'm thinking I caught you in our mid 20s.
Mid to late 20s. We went to the beach one day and I realized it's like, oh, wow. I don't got it anymore. And I used to be the track guy. He was the jumper. I was the fast one. So I was like, oh, he could jump higher, but I'm faster. But now it's like he does both. Even after, dealing with the rehab and building back his patella tendon and getting his knee back. I mean, he's just as good as he was before, if not better. Anything you want to share with twins out there that do have differences and something they should do if they're experiencing that, one twin likes to do something that they're not, or what they can do to embrace those differences and, how not to let them, create conflicts with each other?
No, I think that, as twins, you might both be introduced to the same thing, and one may like that activity, or whether it's a musical instrument, you may like that more than the other. And if you feel or develop a skill more so than your twin, then that's okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be good at different things. You guys don't always have to do the same things. If there's something you both like to do, that's great. You guys should be able to share that, like most other things that you've almost have to be not forced, but just the way you're raised, are going to be sharing things, toys, other things that are within your house, or friends at school. You can have your own friends, you can have your own activities. But if you guys enjoy and are that close, I definitely think your bond will only get strong. It won't mess anything up if one of you are better at one thing than the other. It's just going to bring more to the table as far as your skills, your activities, and basically hobbies, or, hidden talents or special abilities that people may not think you have ordinarily. Like, so.
Yeah, you know what? Our dad, when we had conflicts recently, our dad said something to me that was very impactful. And I think maybe it'll resonate with a lot of you twins out there. The body is built to heal. So if you are in a place where you're not in agreement with your twin, or you're having these conflicts, or you're arguing and you can't seem to figure out why, like if you get a cut on your arm, it's going to heal itself. The body knows what to do. The cells, whatever, have to regenerate to start the healing process. Your body is already built to know what to do to get you to heal. So at the end of the day, if you have a fallout with your twin or a sibling or family member, you should always look at the nature of how we're designed, and it's to heal. Right? Whether we help heal each other or we do things to help heal ourselves. But this episode was just about the differences about the two of us, and how, although we're different, we try not to let those differences come in between us, even though they definitely do. They definitely can. We want to thank the Facebook group, Identical Twins, and We can't wait to meet a lot of you guys at Twinsburg. Oh my God, the Tuxedo Twins. We met some twins that were on Doublemint commercial. That haven't met them like in person, but oh my goodness, there was another set of twins that were on the Wheel of Fortune. We were flooded with so much love from the twin community. We just want to thank you guys. You guys are giving us that premium grade A gasoline that's going to help propel us to where we need to be. So if you know twins, you have any twins out there, please share this. Our next episode, we're going to be talking about our family dynamic and growing up with our two older brothers, mom and dad, and kind of how that was. That's pretty much it, man. You want to close out with anything?
Nope, I don't have anything else. I don't know if you mentioned earlier, we were going over differences. I guess nowadays the main difference physically too is that I would be a little bit taller. And
Yeah, Ari's taller now. I was taller half an inch or a quarter inch for many years, and now Ari got me. I think out of high school, I think from lifting weights. They say lifting weights doesn't stunt your growth, but some people say it does stunt your growth.
Well, I lift still. So.
I was lifting heavy weights in high school though
What's heavy?
like football heavy, like football. And I think that's stunning my growth, to be honest. Just a little bit. Because Ari's a little bit taller than me. But I would say
a lot shorter.
he's a good... Well, I mean, but we were already done growing. We were like 5'10" almost. We're about 5'10" right now. 5'10" or 5'10", 11.
We were both the same height when we left. I don't know.
But
We
anyway,
weren't shorter in high school, so I don't know how that would have stunted your growth.
I think so. Because you still grow after high school. Men grow till they're like 21, I think.
25.
But anyway, but that's it for today's episode. This is Tytwinz.
Twinning ain't easy.
And God bless you guys. And thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next episode. Peace. Good job.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Hey, twin, that's my twin. That's my twin. That's my twin. We just found out we were twins. Isn't that cool?
And I'm your twin brother.
We call this here a little twin.
Twin, tapping up a jet ski.